Styles, and you're watching BrettO Live.
What's going on, guys? BrettO Live back with another video, and today we have the Week in Review, episode 137. This is where we go over Raw and Smackdown in a WWE action figure setup style. We talk about the show, I tell you what happened, tell you what I thought about it, tell you what they could fix, what they could work on, what's bad, what's good in the Week in Review setup. So without further ado, let's jump into it. But before we jump into it, guys, obviously subscribe to the channel. You guys aren't going to want to be missing any new videos that are going to be popping up here in December. There's going to be some insane ones because we're going to be moving into the new house. So there's going to be some insane build videos, moving videos. It's going to be really cool. So I definitely recommend subscribing. We're going to start off with Monday Night Raw. Raw was just okay. I feel like Raw is lacking every single week. Just something. It's so repetitive. It's just, I don't know. We're going to jump into it, though. Starting over here was the Street Profits going up against AJ Styles and Omos. I guess, according to the commentators, the Street Profits had a well-executed plan to take out Omos. They got themselves disqualified with a fire extinguisher. I'm like, what? How is that a well-executed plan? Wouldn't you execute a plan to try to beat AJ Styles and Omos? Maybe freaking isolating AJ Styles and getting almost out of the equation instead of getting yourself disqualified with a fire extinguisher. I thought this was so stupid and didn't make sense whatsoever. Made the Street Profits look so weak, like they couldn't even touch Omos and or AJ Styles. So this was just completely garbage in my opinion. I was not a fan of that at all. Becky Lynch actually made her appearance out in the ring talking about how the crowd bashed the Women's Survivor Series match at Survivor Series, which I completely agree. I completely understand why they bashed that women's match because it was so freaking boring. It was boring. That's why they bashed it, Becky. No. Not just because they're women. No, it was boring. It wasn't entertaining. Nobody was into it, so they were just making random chants. That's why they were bashing it. But yeah, and then she also called out Liv Morgan, saying that she's not going to beat her, but we'll see. I don't know. But yeah, other than that, promo was pretty lame. Moving over here was Cedric Alexander going up against Reggie. The match was lame, obviously, for the 24/7 championship. Cedric Alexander ended up picking up the victory. I was actually kind of shocked because Reggie's been pretty undefeated lately. But then a bunch of the 24/7 idiots come out, and then they try to pin, what's his name, freaking Cedric Alexander. But then the ultimate person that pins him is Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke randomly pins him, pins Cedric for the 24/7 title, and then wins. I'm like, what? And then none of the guys touch her because, of course, she's a woman. I'm like, oh my god, this is so stupid. What is going on? The 24/7 title is so freaking garbage. They need to freaking get rid of that. Moving over here, it was Bianca Belaire versus Tamina again. Same result as last week. Bianca Belaire was able to hit the KOD and pick up the victory over Tamina. And I'm like, okay, why did they just do that? Why did they just repeat exactly what happened last week? Thought it was super freaking lame. But then I actually kind of understood why they did that at the end. Natalya, for whatever reason, is in the corner of Tamina. And then Doudrop also helped. And they basically just took out Bianca Belaire and then just ran away. I'm like, this was so freaking stupid. Just so lame. I don't know. Just so freaking lame. Moving over here, it was Bobby Lashley going up against Rey Mysterio and Dominic in a 2-on-1 handicap match. This match was alright. I really wanted to see Rey Mysterio and Dominic pick up the victory here. It was definitely unnecessary for Bobby Lashley to win this. I think it would have been pretty cool. Maybe Dominic and Rey, maybe even cheat to pick up the victory. But no, Bobby Lashley was able to hit in the Hurt Lock on Dominic Mysterio and tap him out, of course. And right before the match, too, Dominic said, that ain't happening. You're not going to lock me in the Hurt Lock. Yeah, well, he thought wrong because he got tapped out by the freaking Hurt Lock. That was just okay. Moving over here was the opening match of the night. This was pretty decent. It was Matt Riddle going up against Dolph Ziggler. Matt Riddle was dressed as Randy Orton because Randy Orton said, here's some advice, Riddle. Act more like me. So he dressed like him, got some tights like him, and I thought that was pretty funny. He had the fake mustache and the fake goatee. I thought that was really funny. Dolph Ziggler actually tore those off during the match, which I also thought was pretty funny. But in the end, Riddle was able to hit the RKO, use Randy Orton's finishing maneuver, the RKO, to take out Dolph Ziggler and pin him 1, 2, 3. And then after the fact, Randy Orton used the Bro Derek on Bobby Roode to take him out. So they basically exchanged move there, showing a little more bonding between the two, if you will. So I thought that was a pretty cool way to open up the show. I actually enjoyed that. Moving over here, it was Seth Rollins going up against Finn Balor, or at least that was the match that was supposed to happen. And then Seth Rollins, the match didn't even get started. It started with an all-out battle, and then they just started beating the crap out of each other. I'm like, what the heck's going on? It ended with Seth Rollins hitting a couple of curb stomps on Finn Balor, and then he left the arena, and as he was walking up the ramp, a freaking person attacks him. I'm like, wait, who is that? The commentators acknowledge it for the first couple of seconds. They're like, wait, who is that? And then they're like, oh yeah, Finn Balor being taken. I'm like, okay, that was a fan. Yep, because they totally just got off topic. It was so obvious. So freaking idiot, freaking piece of garbage fan jumped Seth Rollins, but obviously security was able to to get him away. Luckily, he didn't have like a weapon on him, tried to injure Seth or harm Seth in any way. So I thought that was really cool. I mean, not that he attacked him, but that he wasn't able to do any harm on Seth. So that's pretty awesome. But yeah, it's just so pathetic. Like, who buys a ticket to a WWE show and says, yeah, I'm going to attack a fan. I'm going to attack a superstar. Like, who does that? Who does that? I don't know. You're just like completely brain dead if you're doing that. It's crazy. It's crazy to me. But yeah, as far as Seth Rollins beating up Finn Balor, I wasn't really fond of it. Moving over here, it was Carmella and Selena Vega beating Rhea Ripley and Nikki Cross for the Women's Tag Team Championships. The match was freaking horrendous. But yeah, honestly, this proves right here how pointless the Women's Tag Team titles are. Literally, Selena Vega and Carmella, like literally two random people, two random different characters, have nothing in common whatsoever. And boom, Women's Tag Team Champions. These titles literally mean nothing. Literally mean nothing. I kind of forgot that Rhea and Nikki were even champs. It's just so freaking lame. Moving over here, it was Big E going up against the person who found, or should I say, stole Mr. McMahon's $100 million egg. No wonder he had to fire all that talent. He had to buy a $100 million egg. But yeah, the person that stole it was Austin Theory. And instead of not firing or like punishing Austin Theory, Vince is like, you know what? I admire that. You kind of remind me of me. So he gave him a match against Big E for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and Big E was obviously able to pick up the victory with little distractions with Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens on ringside. I'm super glad that Austin Theory wasn't able to pick up anything, but it was pretty interesting seeing Austin Theory get a WWE World Heavyweight Championship match in the main event. I thought that was like super odd. But yeah, and what's with the egg? What is with the freaking egg? That's just so weird. Well, it has to go somewhere. Like, there's no way they just bring up an egg and bring Vince back up to the like the storyline, if you will, and it's just an egg. There's no way. It's got to be going somewhere. But yeah, Big E was able to retain the title. The match was all right. Yeah. But yeah, guys, the show overall, in my opinion, 2 out of 5. It was a lame show. I wasn't too fond of it at all. Continuing the weekend review here with SmackDown. SmackDown was really freaking boring, in my opinion. They started off with a story that they continued throughout the entire show, but I just did not think it worked. We're going to jump into it, tell you what I thought. Let's do it. We opened up the show with Kayla Braxton coming out. Obviously, yes, I do know that is Renee Young. I just thought, interview figure, throw it out there. But yeah, anyways, Kayla Braxton came out. She basically started talking about how the suspension of Brock Lesnar is going to be uplifted, but then she got interrupted by Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman coming out and saying he hasn't heard anything about the suspension being uplifted. He doesn't know anything about that. Roman Reigns got a little flustered and getting a little worried that maybe it's true. And then I guess the entire show was basically Kayla Braxton needed to confirm that the rumor is true, that the suspension is uplifted. And then in the end of the show, we did get an answer, and I'll talk about that later. But yeah, it just was very I don't know, it just did not work. It just didn't work. Moving over here, we had Drew McIntyre and Jeff Hardy going up against Madcap Moss and Baron Corbin again. 2 weeks in a row, same match, gotta love it. It was the same result, basically. Jeff Hardy was able to hit the Swanton Bomb on Madcap Moss and pick up the victory for the team. It was the same thing as last week. It's cool seeing Drew and Jeff team up together. I've already seen it. It was the same thing I saw last week. I don't need to see it again. You know what I mean? It's just, no, I did not need to see that again. Moving over here, it was a sort of like a, I wouldn't say a Thanksgiving street fight, but they definitely had some Thanksgiving leftovers surrounding the ring on tables, and it was definitely utilized in this match. It was Angel Garza going up against Rick Boogs in a one-on-one match, and Humberto Carrillo actually started playing the guitar of Rick Boogs, and he ended up getting sent through a table full of leftovers, so that was pretty cool. But then in the end, Angel Garza was able to hit the his finishing maneuver. I think it's like the hammerlock, maybe. Something like that. And he was able to pin Rick Boogs, which I thought was pretty surprising. But yeah, not bad, I guess. Not the best thing ever. Moving over here was Charlotte coming out, basically talking about how even though she lost to Becky Lynch cheated, and then she got interrupted by Toni Storm. And then it ended with Charlotte sending a pie, two pies, into Toni Storm's face. Toni Storm doing nothing about it. Nothing about it. Arms reach away. Toni Storm does nothing. Nothing to retaliate, nothing to get back at Charlotte, nothing. Yeah, I'll just take 2 pies to the face, for sure. Charlotte's arm's length away from me, I'm not going to do anything. Nope, I don't think I will. What? This was so stupid. They are not building this right. It's going to be Toni Storm versus Charlotte. We all know that. But they are not building it right. It is just not working, in my opinion, so far. But yeah, that was super lame. Moving over here, it was Ridge Holland in his debut match on SmackDown going up against Cesaro one-on-one. I thought this match wasn't too bad. It was pretty cool to see Ridge Holland jump in the ring in an actual match. I thought that was pretty cool. He went up against Cesaro. I was almost 100% positive Ridge Holland was going to win this one. But no, Cesaro was able to spike out the victory with a roll-up or some sort of a pinning combination. Sheamus and Ridge Holland were super peed off about that. But yes, Cesaro was able to pick up the victory, escaped with it. Thought it was pretty cool. Not bad, I guess. Moving over here, it was a match made by Sonya Deville earlier in the night. It was Naomi and Sasha Banks going up against Natalya and Shayna Baszler. And I guess Natalya can be on Raw and SmackDown. Did you guys notice that? She was on Raw, and now she's on SmackDown. So I guess she could be on both shows. So is she a free agent, or what's going on with that? We need some clarification. But yeah, it was Natalya and Shayna going up against Sasha and Naomi. This match wasn't too bad. Naomi was definitely showing off her endurance most of the match. But in the end, Naomi was able to obviously show off her endurance enough to pick up the victory. And I believe she pinned Natalya. I could be wrong on that. It might have been Shayna. But anyways, Naomi and Sasha Banks were able to pick up the victory, and then Naomi got in the face of Sonya Deville a little bit, and that's basically how it ended. Not bad. Moving over here, it was a battle royal to determine Roman Reigns' next challenger, because of course Brock Lesnar is still indefinitely suspended at this point in the show. And the match consisted of like the Viking idiots. You had Los Lotharios in there, Baron Corbin, Madcap Moss. Drew McIntyre was excluded from it for whatever reason. They cut to commercial, and then he's just out of the ring. I'm like, what? What happened to Drew McIntyre? So that was odd. Sheamus was there. Ridge Holland was there. It was just a bunch of jumbled up superstars. A lot already competing in the show, like Jeff, Corbin, Sheamus, Holland, like Cesaro. Like a lot of people have already competed in the show, and they're going to the Battle Royal. I thought that was kind of odd. That just shows like the lack of amount of people that they have in the business. It's so sad. But yeah, in the end, Jeff Hardy had Jeff Hardy had the victory. Jeff Hardy, he won the 25-man bet, or not 25-man. I don't know how many men there was, but it was a lot of guys. But yeah, Jeff Hardy was able to pick up the victory, but no. Sami Zayn went through the middle rope earlier in the show, earlier in the match, which I did remember right when Jeff won. I'm like, wait, Jeff hasn't won yet. Sami's still in the match. And then he just pushes him off the top rope, literally in slow motion. Sami Zayn pushes him. Oh, Jeff Hardy's eliminated. What? But yeah, Sami Zayn freaking wins. And then Kayla Braxton comes in the ring and randomly just says, oh my God, Brock Lesnar's contract has been uplifted. I just received a word. I'm like, what? How are you going to have Sami Zayn win this Battle Royal? Sami Zayn's about to get a title opportunity against almost the greatest of all time, Roman Reigns. Sami Zayn! This is such a big freaking break for him. He's going to be getting a Universal title opportunity. And then they just jump right back to Brock Lesnar. What? But yeah, super odd in my opinion. But anyways, guys, that was SmackDown. I thought the show was pretty freaking bad and boring. In the end, I'm going to give it a solid 2 out of 5. Similar to Raw this week. Just wasn't too fond of it. Yeah, just, I don't know, it's very unorganized, not that entertaining, boring, repetitive. But yeah, guys, that's been the weekend review. I hope you guys enjoyed BrettO Live. Let me know what you guys thought about the shows down in the comments below. Out.